And welcome back today at Wrestling Collector Zone. Today I am going to go over another top 5 list. As you all know, I've already did a singles top 5 of the late 90s, early 2000s versus today's single wrestlers. And this is just a straight out top 5. I decided that I want to do, it's kind of a slash list. It's best, who I think are the 5 best slash my favorite tag teams. That I kind of listed them as both because even though they're my favorites for a reason with tag teams. If you're one of my favorite tag teams, you have to be like one of the best, either current or past. And what I did was I kind of split this list. I did the bottom 2, 4 and 5 as current or more recent tag teams. And the top 3 I did are, older tag teams that are not together, or the wrestlers may be either retired or deceased. With that, I did not limit them to what promotion they were in or anything like that. It was just flat out who I can remember back in the day, who were my favorite tag teams, but also who were considered the best. And I'm going to start with number 5. Like I said, 4 and 5 are more recent tag teams. And these 2 tag teams kind of go head to head. They've actually been in the ring together wrestling each other. And they are 2 of my favorite tag teams and have been for a very long time now. They are impressive. They take it, to the next level. They are hard-hitting. They're high-flying, all that. Number 5 would be Motor City Machine Guns, which is Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley. They're both from Detroit, Michigan. They wrestled in Impact Wrestling, among Ring of Honor, other companies. And they were placed together originally, from what I remember, in Impact as Motor City Machine Guns. And they were both great single competitors in the X Division. But I think when they were put together as a tag team, they just clicked that much better. I hate to say or label a wrestler as a tag team wrestler only, or they should only be a tag team wrestler. And especially with these 2 guys, because don't get me wrong, I love Alex Shelley and I love Chris Sabin. Chris Sabin was one of the top 2 of my favorite to hold the X Division Championship and even the TNA World Title. But I feel that as a tag team, they just took it to the next level no matter what. They rocked every arena they walked into when they got in the ring as a tag team. They just tore it up. And I mean, they tore it up. I don't have one bad memory of a Motor City Machine Gun match, of even being just, that was okay. It was honestly every match that was Motor City Machine Guns was my favorite match of Motor City Machine Guns. I can't just say they have one favorite of my matches or something like that. They always, every match they were in was my favorite when it came to Motor City Machine Guns. They would tear it up. They tore it up against, Christopher Daniels and Kazarian. Today I was scrolling through Facebook and I came across a few clips of when they wrestled the Young Bucks in Impact, and I am surprised that I didn't remember that match as clear as what it was when I was just watching the clips again today. That it was an insane match. Both of them back and forth. They just tore up the ring inside and outside the ring. And it was all together. They just are one of the most impressive tag teams that I've ever seen. All right, let's move on. I'm starting to ramble now, so let's move on to number 4. And number 4 is going to be the Young Bucks. Young Bucks, they're hands down one of my favorite in AEW. They're, when they were in Japan, Impact, all that, they tore it up. When I first saw them as a tag team, I don't know about everyone else's thoughts, but my thoughts were, and I had never seen them wrestle, they had just entered, and it's like, this is a Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy ripoff, and I hate Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. Don't get me wrong, I'm wearing a Matt Hardy shirt right now, and I say I hate Matt Hardy. Like, no, I don't hate Matt Hardy. He's better than what his brother Jeff is. But, so, oh man, that's funny. But, it was just, I've never been a fan of the Hardy Boys. And I'm like, this is just the new age Hardy Boys. Why? And then they got in the ring. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. They are everything that the Hardys wanted to be and wanted to reach to and aspire. And it's, as time goes on, the Young Bucks have just gotten better and better and better. And when they were in New Japan Pro Wrestling and the Bullet Club, they tore it up. In Pro Wrestling Guerrillas rings, they tear it up. Just any match you see, they tear it up no matter what. It's just like the Young Bucks, everything they have achieved so far, they deserve. They earned it. There is a reason they are called the Elite. Even if they were, given that name by themselves or whoever gave it to them. But there's the reason they're called the Elite. They are, in current times, I would say, if you wanted to wipe the list of older tag teams and just go current days tag teams and do a top 5, they would literally hit the list at number 1 no matter what. Because they are one of the best tag teams I have ever seen in the ring. Don't get me wrong, Lucha Bros, they're great. Just Christopher Daniel, Kazarian, SCU, great tag teams. But when it comes to the Young Bucks, they've got it. They've got the attitude. It is a cocky attitude, but it's there for a reason because they know they have it. They sit there and they tear up the ring night out. And they are one of the best tag teams there's ever been. All right, let's move on to number 3. Like I said, I split the list, and the top 3 are actually going to be tag teams that were either active in the early 2000s or earlier, and that are now either retired, deceased, something like that. But number 3, and I was never a huge fan of them, and they are another tag team that are brothers, and they are from Michigan, Bay City, Michigan. They're the Steiner Brothers. In the 90s, they were always tearing up the ring. They were an amazing tag team, and just night in, night out, they had it, the Frankensteiner. They had some rough matches. And it's, unfortunate what became of the tag team of the split and WCW, because they were great as a tag team together. But when Scott Steiner started getting that whole, people argue, oh, he didn't take steroids and blah, blah, blah. Look at the man and tell me if you've seen him on the street and he didn't know he was a pro wrestler. What do you think? He took steroids? Yes. And his whole attitude, gimmick, everything, I think destroyed their tag team. and it was unfortunate, but like I said, I was never really fans of them to begin with. But I will give them due with they were one of the best tag teams out there. And let's hit to number 2. Number 2 and number 1, it was hard to choose which way to put them in order here, because they are both my favorite tag teams. But I decided to go with number 2 is the Road Warriors. But both these tag teams, placed in number 1 and number 2, are some of the two of the most infamous tag teams that will go down in the history of wrestling, that everybody knows who they were. The Road Warriors / Legion of Doom, they were one of the best tag teams to ever come out to hit wrestling. And NWA, WCW, WWF, AWA, they tore up the rings night in, night out. It was really unfortunate because, Animal and Hawk, they were great wrestlers, but it was really unfortunate that Hawk got to where he was and hooked on drugs and alcohol, and kind of it ended their run as a tag team and career quite a few times, or at least a couple times. But later on, Hawk finally did get the help he needed right before he had passed away, and they came back and made their comeback, and it was just, they were an amazing tag team. And every time you heard that at the beginning of the music, it was silent in the arena, and then what a rush. You knew that, it was about to go down. Okay, let's move on to number 1. Number 1 is the Hart Foundation, which was Bret Hart and his brother-in-law, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. They were a great tag team. They held the tag team titles quite a few times. They tore up the ring all the time. Bret came from Canada, and Jim married into actually the Hart family. But they had training with Stu and everything like that. And Stu Hart and the Hart family in general. And they were just an amazing tag team. Once Stampede Wrestling was bought out by WWF, the Hart Foundation was brought down into WWF. And that's where they basically ran their career from, I think it's like the late 80s, right up into 97 when Bret Hart and the screw job had happened with him with the world title when he was leaving to the WCW. And that was kind of the end of the Hart Foundation then. But they just for years tore it up and are going to go down in the history book as one of the greatest tag teams in wrestling history. So that is my top 5 favorite / what I think is best tag teams in wrestling history. What do you guys think? Post below. You don't have to give your top 5. You can give your top 5, top 10, whatever. But what do you guys think? Who are you guys? Do you agree with me on some of these tag teams? Do you not agree with me at all? Are there other tag teams that you think are better than these tag teams? Let's start a discussion below. I now want to, before I end the video, I am going to talk about real quick what I'm going to be doing for the future here. One of the future videos is I am going to subscribe to the WWE Network and New Japan Pro Wrestling Network, the streaming network, and I'm going to take a week or two to watch both. I have had the WWE Network quite a few times in the past and kind of know what it is, but it's always, changing. But I want to compare the two and see which one in my opinion, is better and that I would suggest to a wrestling fan. Obviously, the huge difference is going to be WWE with the background in ECW, WCW footage, all that, versus New Japan. But New Japan is one of the best Japan promotions, and I just want to see what platform's kind of better and what I would suggest, because I know they're around like the same price. So I just want to take a week or two, compare them, and then I'm going to do a video comparing the two and just give my thoughts on what I would suggest to a wrestling fan. Which one would be better to have? If you have any questions, go ahead and post them below. Go ahead, like if you like the content that you just saw and you're wanting more. Hit subscribe. Once we hit the 100 subscribers, we're going to start doing those giveaways. And hit that notification bell so that you start getting those notifications every time one of our videos goes live. Please also feel free to share the Wrestling Collector Zone channel with your friends, family, on your social media, Facebook, whatever. Obviously, to help us get there to past that 100 subscribers. And the quicker we get there, the quicker you guys start getting free giveaways. Thanks again for joining us. This is Wrestling Collector Zone, and you guys have a great night.